Welcome back to Frozen Education. This is Zed. Today we're talking about SNDL once more as another update per the amazing following that I've been getting in the recommendations there. So SNDL, let's jump right into this one. We've gone a few times before into this one, so my last video is in the description below. Nonetheless, for SNDL and Sundial, what we know currently is that they have insane amount of cash per their presentation as well, and no debt. So they have closer to almost $750 million of cash, or almost $750 million, no debt, and they have massive partnerships with different companies. I'll go through that in a second. They have different brands such as Top Leaf, including flour, vapes, rolls, concentrates, BC Weeds, Sundial, Palmidio, Grasslands. The list goes on. And the current breakdown for the price per gram, it grows down towards different categories, whether you're looking into discount, value, core, and premium. And they also have a partnership with Sunstream Bancorp. This is SAF Group, which is a Canadian alternative investment management who has located more than $2 billion across more than 30 transactions. And they have significant partners where they're looking into continuing on and managing some of that money towards the cannabis industry. And so what Sundial has done was transform itself from what someone could be saying that this is just more of a Canadian cannabis company to more of a Canadian cannabis organization where they produce cannabis and also hold other companies related into that sector with the amount of cash that they've raised. They've raised an insane amount of cash thanks to a lot of folks out there in the retail that pushed the price upwards and believed in this company. Now, they did it through multiple ways before moving on towards legislations, etc. They did it through offerings. So for instance, currently they have $800 million in the shelf offering price that they can raise up. So that comes in terms of their entire valuation closer to $1.5 billion. Current market cap is around $1.86 billion and the price over book is $242. And I'll show you why that might be a little bit more on the cheaper side. And that's simply because the SP 500 price over book is currently at $455, which makes this one somewhere around a discount when you're looking into a price over book, almost half. So that is something very interesting to take a look at, and we'll go through a bit more details in a second. Now, before moving on forward, if you'd like to see more contents like this, make sure to scroll down below, click that like button up, and there's a subscribe button. Just make sure to click that on and turn notifications on, and you can scroll down to more and join me on the Discord there. And then there's no commitments on there. It's totally free. And if you'd like to see more of that, make sure to watch it to the very end. And let's move on forward. And so from institutional buyers, and before moving on towards the latest news, they're looking to be very bullish onto there. On April itself, you're seeing thousands and thousands of shares being added, and that's a good sign that institutions are continuously bullish into this one. And if we move on towards the latest SEC filings, we see that $800 million we were talking about. And currently, Americans overwhelmingly say marijuana should be illegal for recreational or medical use. And this entire statistics, it's valid and available for all these senators that we will be voting for the MORE Act, and they do know, well, you got to do what the people want, otherwise you might not get elected. And so there has been a lot of push, including as well, Uber CEO says the company could get into the cannabis delivery system, and that made a lot of news last week. And what a lot of people have been missing is that Uber doesn't make cannabis, doesn't manufacture cannabis. They might buy some cannabis companies, but that's not the business they're in. And so there you go. There's a distribution center. And what you might have is Sundial later on buying some beat out companies in the US and turn them into more of a manufacturing sites, and then having upfronts for them where you can have a network in the US with the amount of money they have raised recently, at least. And in terms of American views on legalizing marijuana, that has reached already new highs, sitting at almost 68% saying yes to legal. Now, currently, the bill here, the MORE Act of 2020 that we did talk about previously, that did pass the House, if you do recall. Now, currently in the Senate, this was received back in the Senate back in December, and what you're seeing here is that it was read twice and referred to the Committee of Finance. And currently looking into this, that was the last thing that was basically sent over there, and there's no other reference to it in the Committee of Finance. And what this say is just basically that the finance committee will get to it soon. They haven't gotten to it, at least in terms of a public hearing, and it probably is somewhere there on the legislations. Now, in a previous video, I did talk about the memberships of both chairman and the ranking member being pro-cannabis, at least in that sense, including as well the minority Chuck Grassley, and we did talk about how they're pro-cannabis even on the Republican side for Chuck Grassley. And what that just mainly says is that we are very likely to see a federal legalized cannabis and the MORE Act to pass on as well in the Senate, and that paves the way in the US for SNDL. And some of you might ask, well, why isn't SNDL already buying some US infrastructure? And the answer there is very simple. It's not legal yet in the US. And the question here is, why would they go ahead and buy these companies if it's not federally legal yet? They want to see first what are the legislations that are there, what they need to be careful of before making an acquisition, which honestly is very, very smart. So I definitely do agree with their kind of platform in that sense, so we can move on towards technical analysis. Now, we're going to move on towards technical analysis, but keep in mind that the market has been slipping a little. So on the 1 week perspective, we see that the MACD has gone negative here, which is a bearish sign. Momentum is still positive, and Williams percent R, which is similar to the RSI, shows highly oversold. Now the current momentum is still a bit stable, but we're looking into the moving averages where it slipped below the 10 SMA at the 96 cents, but it's still above the 69 cents 200 or 50 SMA. Now on the 1 day perspective, we see that there's a current 200 SMA line at the 69 cents. The MACD is attempting a positive reversal sometime mid next week. Momentum is climbing back up. ADX shows more of a sloppy action. Williams percent R is closer to oversold than overbought. And so this is more likely primed to a bullish run on a 1 day perspective, at least in a 1 day interval. Now, in terms of the moving averages, you're getting closer to the Bollinger Bands here at the bottom at 78 cents. So really interesting. Currently it's trading at 84 cents. It dropped down to 76 cents on the last trading day on Friday. Now the current stochastic fast and stochastic slow are both telling you to keep an eye into where the next resistance is, because you might easily break it if it's closer by. And what we see here is that the current resistance is a little bit further on the Fibonacci retracements. We'll still look at it into a price line action. We're looking into a significant resistance at 104, 159, 205, 250, 314, and 396. Now, on a price line action, what we're seeing is a very strong support level sitting at 83 cents. Below there, 72 cents. Below there, 55 cents, 42 cents, and then down to 29 cents. Significant resistances, you're looking at 93 cents up to $1, and then upwards to 108, and then we're looking into 124, and then from there 134, and then upwards to 154, going upwards to 178, and going up to 197, and then to 222. Comes to the question to Ed, what do you think about this one? I'll say once more, I think that they have enough cash on their hand to pull this round and really be a different company than they were before when they were trading at 12 cents or whatnot. I definitely think that there is potential there, and it's all up to management to show that they can actually lead this ship and steer it in the right direction. Currently, we need more investor relations, more PR, more publicity in there. We need more transparency to be able to know that we are able to trust these managements in order to bring this price upwards back and hold the shareholders' trust. And that's all it is. What do you think about the sticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like. Have a wonderful day.
Now, if you made it this far into the video, I do recommend that you go ahead and join our Discord server. There's a lot of amazing folks in here. We do a lot of discussions here into the trading floor throughout the day. A lot of people are in there, and we do ask questions. You can ask me any question you would like on there. We do post research and DDs, and we hold weekly chat sessions. And we also do have a lounge in there. So make sure to actually join that and join the fun there. Have a wonderful day and a good one.